All right, welcome back to Kick and Crochet. This is the 8th glove in the year of gloves. This one is kind of a more basic one, but still fun. I will say that as you do the increases, these lines don't necessarily add up depending on what size you do. The original version, I actually had them all offset, so it might not look exactly like this one depending on how you do your increases, but it'll still look awesome. So you are going to need a DK weight yarn. I'm using Swish DK and Blossom Heather and a size G crochet hook. You can get the pattern from the link in the description. All right, so this one is worked bottom up, so we're going to start with the cuff, and the cuff is going to be worked as a ribbon in slip stitch ribbing. So we'll start by getting our yarn on our hook. And a slip stitch ribbing is actually my favorite ribbing because it's very stretchy, so it hugs your wrist. The downside of it is that it takes quite a while to make because you're doing slip stitches. So get started here. I'm going to chain 11. Okay, then I'm going to turn and slip stitch in the second stitch from the hook and all the way across. So I'll do 10 slip stitches. This turn chain is not going to count as a stitch, so I'm going to have 10 slip stitches across. And I usually work in the back loop. It doesn't matter super much on this. I'm just going to slip stitch all the way across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that counts as my first row of slip stitch ribbing. That counts as one row. So the starting chain does not count as a row, but the first row of slip stitches does. Okay, so now we'll chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to back loop single crochet, or sorry, back loop slip stitch all the way across. Again, that chain turn does not count as a stitch. So I'll insert my hook in just the back loop of the previous stitch, yarn over and pull through both loops, insert in just the back loop, yarn over and pull through both loops. I'll do this all the way across. Then we're just going to do that until we have 44 rows. I forgot to mention, I'm demonstrating the 7-inch glove. There are glove sizes for 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, or 9 inches, and that's measured around the 4 finger knuckles of the hand. So if you are doing a different size, you're going to have a different number of rows, but really you just need enough rows until it fits your cuff properly. So chain 1, the chain doesn't count, then back loop slip stitch all the way across. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the last one here. So remember that turn chain is this little puff on the end. That's not a stitch, but this one here is. When in doubt, count your stitches. You'll get used to it after a couple rows, but it's really useful to count to make sure you have the right number for the first few. So I'm going to go off camera and finish this. I'm going to stop when I have 44 rows of ribbing. All right, so now I'm done with all of my rows of slip stitches. It's nice and stretchy. Now, slip stitch ribbing is kind of weird to count sometimes, so if you are off by a row or two, it really doesn't matter. Well, we can adjust for that when we do the next step. So now we're gonna join our cuff to make a cuff. So I'll chain one, and then I'm just gonna bring this around. Now, depending on which loops you go through, it's gonna look a little bit different, but it's really pretty forgiving. So what I'm gonna do is go through the back loop on the first side and the front loop on the other side. You don't have to do it this way, but it's a way that I found looks pretty good. And I'm going to draw through all three of those loops. So back loop on the front side, front loop on the back side. Draw it through. It's not going to look perfect because you just can't make it look perfect. You started with a chain and then it's just not symmetrical. So we just do our best. Now, before you go on to the next step, take a second and just look at your cuff. So you're probably gonna like one side of this join better than the other. So I'm gonna leave it this way, but you can also look at the back side. And if you like how this side looks better, then you can turn it inside out and continue on with it this way. And it really doesn't matter, so whichever way you like, but take a second to look at your cuff. I like it better the first way, so I'm gonna leave it that way. Now this join is going to be on the pinky side of both gloves. And you can see here that it's really not super obvious. It is slightly different than the other rows, but it blends in pretty well. And all of your joins all the way along are gonna be on the pinky side of your glove. So it's right on the fold there, right on the edge, so they're less obvious. Okay, so now we have joined our cuff. And remember, I am demonstrating the 7-inch glove, so the increases and the counts are gonna be different for different gloves. Now to start working up from the cuff, we are going to chain one just to get a little bit of distance to get up here. Sorry, I'm gonna be going around the right side still, I think. Now we're gonna single crochet around the edge of the cuff, and what we're gonna do is work one stitch in each row. So each ridge here is a stitch and each dip is a stitch, is a row. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But we're gonna skip every 4th row. So we have 44 rows right now. We're gonna end up with 33 stitches. Now, this is where if you ended up with an extra row or one too few rows, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you end up with the right number of stitches. As long as you end up with the right number of stitches and they're relatively evenly spaced, your glove is fine. So if you skip an extra row because you had one too many, or you have to add a decrease because you had one too many row or something, that's fine. It will still work just fine. Don't worry about it. Okay. So I'm going to single crochet in the first row, in this space, this dip here between the two ridges is the 2nd row, the 3rd row, and then I'm going to skip the next dip. So go 1, 2, 3, and skip. 1, 2, 3, and skip. And remember, these are single crochets, not slip stitches. 1, 2, 3, and skip. So I'm going to go all the way around like this, and then I will join to my starting single crochet. Now chain 1 and turn. We're just going to single crochet across or around every stitch. and join to close the round. All right, now chain 1 and turn. Loop. So here we're going to do single crochet 2 together, then chain 1 and single crochet all the way around. So our stitch count on this row is staying the same, and we will work something into every stitch, but we also have chains. So I'll show you how that looks. So for the single crochet 2 together, you'll insert your hook in the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Now chain 1, then single crochet in the next stitch. So I'll show that again. Insert your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, do that again. So you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, chain 1, and single crochet in the next stitch. So we're going to do that all the way around. So you should end it with a single crochet and then join to your starting stitch, and chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to increase by 3 stitches in this round. Generally the pattern is you have this textured row and then a row of regular single crochet, but we are going to add a couple of increases. So the chain 1 again doesn't count as a stitch. Let me turn. We're going to do 10 single crochet and then an increase, and we'll do that 3 times. So we'll increase 3 times. Okay, so we'll start here. So this here is our join. I'm not working into the join. I'm working into that single crochet. Then I am going to do a single crochet in the chain and a single crochet in the decrease. So it's 3. I'm going to keep going. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. My 10th stitch is in this single crochet. Then I need an increase, so I'm going to work 2 single crochets in this chain. 1, 2. Now I'll work 10 more single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I need 2 single crochet in the next stitch for an increase. Now I'll work 10 more regular single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and end with 2 single crochet in the last stitch. So I should have 36 stitches now, and join. You'll notice that my increases are typically happening in multiples of 3 because this pattern on the right side rows is a multiple of 3. So chain 1 and turn. And now I'm just going to do the same thing that I did 2 rows ago. I'm going to do a single crochet 2 together, chain 1, single crochet. And I'll do that all the way around. So 1, 2 together, chain 1, single crochet. 1, 2 together, chain 1, single crochet. And we'll do that all the way around. Now it's time for another increase row. We're going to chain 1 and turn. I'm going to single crochet 12, then increase, then 10, then increase, then 12. Okay, so I will single crochet 12, 1, Now increase. Then I'll do 10. Then increase. Then 12. So I have 38 stitches now. Now I'm going to add one more increase while I do the next row. So chain 1 and turn. So I'm going to do my single crochet 2 together, chain 1 SC 6 times. So 2 together, chain 1, that's 1. 2 together, chain 1, that's 2. 2 together, chain 1, that's 3. 2 together, chain 1, that's 4. 2 together, chain 1, that's 5. 2 together, chain 1, that is 6. Now I'm going to do a single crochet 2 together, chain 1, and then I'm going to single crochet in the same stitch, and that's my increase. And now I'm going to do 6 more sets of single crochet 2 together, chain 1, single crochet. All right, so now I have 39 stitches. The next round, I'm just going to single crochet around regular. So I should have 39 stitches at the end of this round also. The next round also does not have any increases, so it'll just be in pattern. You'll do your single crochet 2 together, chain 1, single crochet all the way around. Now this next round we're going to increase 2 times again. So I'm going to start, so chain 1 and turn. Do 2 single crochet in the first stitch. Now I'm going to do 19 stitches and then another increase. And 2 single crochet in the next stitch for an increase. And then I'll finish the round with a regular single crochet. I should have 18 more stitches. Now since we only did 2 increases on that round, we're going to need to do one more increase in the next one. So I'm going to do 6 sets of our single crochet 2 together, chain 1, single crochet, and then I'll do our increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now we'll increase this just the same way we did last time. I'll do my decrease, chain 1, and then my single crochet will go in that same stitch. And then we'll just continue on. We'll do 7 more sets. I should have 42 stitches. You guys might have caught that as I was going, but I messed up. I forgot to put a regular single crochet between these 2 decreases. So if that happens to you, you have 2 options. You can either go back and fix it or just add a single crochet at the end. I'm going to go back and fix it since I'm making a sample for you all to see, but I give you permission to adjust as you need to. All right, now we're just going to do 7 rounds just in pattern. So on the wrong sides, on the insides, you're going to single crochet around, and on the outsides, you're going to do that single crochet 2 together, chain 1, single crochet. So 7 more rows, so you should end on a single crochet around row. And then after that, it's going to be time for the thumb separation. I'll come back at that point and show you how to do the thumb. All right, now it is time for the thumb separation. So we'll chain 1 and turn, just like normal. And now we are going to do 5 sets of the single crochet 2 together, chain 1, single crochet. So here is 1, 2, 3, and I am needing to change yarn, so I'll get my new yarn out here. It's 4. I believe that was 5. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that was 4. 4. 5. Now you can see on the shape of our glove that we did more increases here on this side, and this is the thumb. So now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 3, then skip 12 stitches, and then we're going to do 5 more of those sets of the SC2 together, chain 1 SC. So I'm just going to tuck this tails in so they're out of the way. I'll weave them in later. So we'll chain 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to skip 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then we're going to keep on going in pattern here. So if you notice, we skipped a multiple of 3 stitches. We'll just keep going around. And we'll join just like normal. Chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to single crochet around, and when we do that, we are going to single crochet across this chain. So 3 stitches across the chain 3 that we made at the thumb. We're going to completely ignore these 12 stitches that we skipped. This is also a great time to try on the glove just to make sure that thumb is big enough. So I should, if you're doing the 7-inch glove here, you'll have 33 stitches going on at this point. So here at the thumb, I'm just going to do in one side of this chain, because when I do the actual thumb, I'm going to work in the other side of it, and it's just a little bit easier to work into that way. You can also, instead of actually working into the chain stitches themselves, you can just work over the chain if you want. But I think that it usually works out a little bit neater if you work into the chain stitches themselves. So that's what I'm going to do. And then join, chain 1 and turn. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do our in pattern for 9 rows. So I'm gonna start with the texture pattern, and then my 9th row will be another texture pattern, and then I'm gonna do 1 more row after that, but I'm not gonna turn, just because it makes a nicer edge at the very last round if you don't turn before you make it. See how it kind of tilts a little bit on the edge? So on the very last row of single crochets, you're gonna not turn before you do it. So you're gonna work it on the right side instead of the wrong side. So really we're doing 10 rows in pattern, just the 10th row is single crochets on the right side instead of the wrong side. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish off these fingers, and then I will come back and show you how to finish the thumb. All right, so I finished the fingers, and I now have about 1 million children in my house. If you hear children in the background, sorry. Okay, so now it is time to finish the thumb. If you like the thumb short like this, you don't have to add anything else to it, but I like to add to it. Oh, hello, cat. This is Copper. He's very friendly. Get down. He wants to eat my yarn. Won't you? Or just sleep on my table. Good boy. Okay. All right. So I'm going to join to the stitch just to the left of the thumb separation. Stop eating my yarn, cat. Stay down. So if you look at the thumb, this stitch is the last one used, so this is the one just to the left. So I'm going to join there. Now I'm not counting that as a stitch, a join here, and I'm actually going to do a decrease right here. So I'll start with my SC2 together, chain 1, single crochet. I'm going to do this around the thumb. SC2 together, chain 1, single crochet. And you can actually start anywhere you want on the glove thumb as long as you end up in pattern here. So single crochet 2 together, chain 1, single crochet. Okay, so now we come to the thumb. So if you want to try and close up some of the gaps that happen at the thumb join, you can go into the same stitch that got worked into by the main hand here, or you can just sew it up at the end. So it really depends on your preference. For this one, I'm just going to sew it up at the end. So that stitch went to the main glove. So I'm on the chain 3 here. So I'm just going to work the same thing, a decrease, chain 1, single crochet over that thumb chain, and then I'll join to my starting chain. Again, if I wanted to, I could pick up an extra stitch here to close up the gap, but I'm just going to sew it up with my yarn tails at the end. Now chain 1 and turn, and now we're just going to go in pattern for a few more rows. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, and then 1 more final single crochet round from the right side. So you should have 15 stitches on your thumb here for this size glove. Okay, so I'm going to go 4 more rounds. On the last round, I'm just going to do this last row single crochet from the right side instead of the wrong side. And then that's it. You can weave in ends and be done.